Hello everyone and welcome to another Headstone video. And this one is a little bit special because today we complete 1 year since we posted the first video on this channel. And the first video of this channel was a Shulker box loader, very similar to this one. And after the first one I did a second version. And the reason for the second version was because in the first one you needed to input the empty Shulker box here manually in the dispenser. In the second one, would automatically refill, but you would need one Shulker box in the dispenser and two more in the droppers under the dispenser. In this new version here, the third version, as you can see, we don't need any Shulker boxes in the dispenser. So the only Shulker boxes you need is the ones that you are actually using. And of course you need some other Shulker boxes, empty Shulker boxes in the input here, right? And that I'm actually only gonna leave one in this chest. You'll see why in a moment. Yeah, and this design of Shulker box loader, since the first version, the idea was that you could open the Shulker box here, so you would have access to all the items, even when they are loading. Because sometimes, for example, here is Shulker box loader that I'm actually using in my world for digging a perimeter. So for example, I do get some obsidian, but sometimes it takes us a while to complete a Shulker box and I need some obsidian to make a part or something. So I can just come here and grab some, right? Don't need to wait for one Shulker box to get full. And another difference from the first and second version is instead of placing one chest here or one barrel to each of the slices, I'm moving all the hoppers to one single chest, so all the full Shulker boxes will get in this chest here. And the reason for that is that because when the Shulker box gets through these gaps here from the hoppers, sometimes it gets in the slice on the side here, right, because of the momentum of the item, right? Most of the times it gets in the same slice here, but sometimes it gets in the other. So for that reason, I think it's better to just send ever full Shulker box here, and then here you can easily select the Shulker box you want, right? And this other chest here, this one is to refill the empty Shulker boxes. As you can see, there is a hopper here that goes through this other chest here and this other hopper, and this is the minecart that refills the empty Shulker boxes. And these other 4 chests are for items that are not filtered. So let's demonstrate this first. I'm gonna put some lapis ore here that we are not filtering. So we should see they will get in this chest in a moment. And yeah, this light turns on because we have items here. And when we remove it, it's turning off, right? And now we can see that this Shulker box here with stone is almost full. So I'm going to put some stone and we're going to look to see what happens here, right? And also the lights for the empty Shulker box will turn on because that's the last Shulker box we have in this chest here. And the lights for the full Shulker box will turn on because the full Shulker box will get here. So let's see that. Yeah, as you can see, the full Shulker box got broken. The minecart replaced the new Shulker box here, and the other Shulker box went through the hoppers, and it's here. So that's why these lights on. When you remove the full Shulker boxes, these turn off, and these lights turning on, meaning we need new empty Shulker boxes because this chest here is empty, right? But we still have at least 10 Shulker boxes, right? 5 here in the hopper and 5 in the minecart. And yeah, that's a good reason because then if you don't pay attention to the light, you still at least have 10 more Shulker boxes there until you realize you need the empty ones. Yeah, then you can just come here and refill the empty ones and the light will turn off. So yeah, these lights, if they are on, it means you have to check the chest here, right? Okay, so now that we made a demonstration here, I'm gonna show in detail how the circuit works, right? So first here we have a hopper line to bring the items. Of course you can use a water stream, right? Just need to make sure that the items coming in a speed that the hoppers can handle, right? And yeah, here we have a simple impulse item filter, right? With the filter here. This one is for stone, for example, right? This glowstone here is just so this torch doesn't create light updates. That reduces lag a little bit. And the items go through these hoppers and barrels here, and eventually inside the shulker box here. Yeah, when this shulker box gets full, this comparator will input a 15 strength level of headstone signal here, and these observers, this one and this one, will observe this change. So this one here powers this block, and this repeater will power the piston here to break the shulker box, right? And this bottom one will power this piston here, that will power this other piston and move this block back here. And this will do two things. First, it will power this line. That's the line that will power the minecart. Yeah, so when we need a new shulker box, the minecart will go on. This is not really necessary. You can just leave the minecart going back and forth, right? But yeah, this is just to reduce the noise, right? Because the minecart makes a lot of noise when it's traveling, so this is just to make the minecart stop there. And the other thing it will do, it's gonna remove this power source here, this redstone block from here, and powering this comparator, powering this torch, powering this comparator, and unpowering this torch. And this block here is what's locking the hoppers, right? So here, for example, you have a whole bunch of hoppers, right? And yeah, they are all locked for with these torches. The reason is when the minecart comes, it will only input a shulker box in the hoppers that are unlocked, or most of the times it will be only one hopper, right? That will be unlocked. That's the hopper that's gonna have the headstone block retracted, right? So it's unlocked now, and the minecart can input a new shulker box. And yeah, actually it's better if we simulate this here, right? So let's kind of simulate that this is getting full. Let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, the shulker box will be floating there for a moment, and this headstone block got retracted, right? And now it's unlocked here, so the minecart would come here and input a new shulker box, and this comparator will power that piston again and move the headstone block back there. Let's see. You can see, yeah. And now the hopper is locked again, and it dispensed a new shulker box here, and the one that was floating there got to this hopper that would go all the way back to this chest here, right? And yeah, the way that we power the dispenser in this dropper here is when this comparator here powers or unpowers the note block, the observer detects and will power the dropper and the dispenser, and that will dispense the new shulker box there. And yeah, of course, this will also power the observer or the note block on next to this other note block, and this observer will power another dropper and dispenser, but they will be empty, so it doesn't really matter. So some important things to say about this when you are building is you need to remember that every shulker box here needs to have either another slice next to it or a block here. So here you can see, for example, that we have on this one here, we have a block here next to this shulker box, and if we look next to this other one, we have another block here, right? Just so the shulker box can't get to the side, right? The only way it can go is through this gap of the hopper here and inside this hopper. Also, when you are building, before placing this piston and this block here, make sure you place all the headstone dust here before, because if you try to place it later, it will update this as these observers, and as you can see, they will mess up everything. The piston here will be messed up also, right? It will break the box. So yeah, first you place these observers here, then all the headstone dust in all the slices you made, right? And then you place this block and this piston, right? Another important thing is that in this last hopper here, you need at least 3 rails, extra rails, right? You can't just, for example, put a rail here and do this, because you need a little bit of delay for the minecart to not deliver 2 shulker blocks to the last slice when it needs, right? So that's why we have this extra 3 rails here, right? Also, one thing important is if you have more than 14 slices here, this headstone line here won't get all the way through this block, right? Because if the last slice is powered, the power won't get through here, right? So you might just remove all these here and just leave the minecart going back and forth all the time, right? The only problem with this is that we'll hear the noise of the minecart. So yeah, all this circuit is just to avoid the noise of the minecart. And also under this comparator here, as you can see, I'm using redstone blocks in some of the slices, right? But you only need enough redstone blocks to make these powered rails powered, right? So as you can see, I have one in the start and one in the end there, and yeah, the other blocks are just regular blocks. Okay, so that's it for the explanation of this circuit, and I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, the world downloads will be in the description in case you want to build this in your world. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I see you guys in the next video. Bye!